Okay, I'm just muting everybody. Great. Welcome. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Monday's session. I hope you all had a lovely weekend. I hope you all had a good week. And rested, revitalized after the weekend, ready for the week ahead. We're going to start sat down today. So just sitting cross-legged. As always, please use a block if that helps you. If you have tight hips, blocks can be very useful. And if sitting cross-legged really isn't comfortable at all for you, then please feel free to kneel, or if you have any knee issues, anything like that, you can always sit with your legs out or kneeling. Take your option. It's just good to sit cross-legged to start opening up the hips. So that's why we generally sit this way. So we'll just settle in for a couple of minutes and I'll explain a bit about the class. So just finding your seated position, closing down the eyes, settling yourself down, just noticing the points of contact with the earth, whichever way you're seating, and feeling grounded, feeling heavy. And then sitting up nice and tall, finding length through your spine, length through the back of the neck. So maybe just bringing the chin slightly down to meet the chest, so we're not kind of sticking our chin out into the air. And softening around the face. Softening around the neck and shoulders. And starting to bring your focus inwards. We can just have the hands resting on the lap or on the knees or on the thighs. Starting to notice your breathing, just keeping the breathing natural for now, just noticing your inhales and exhales. And today we are going to be working around the shoulder area, so lots of shoulder work today. It can be a problem area for a lot of us for various reasons, including myself. If you sit at a desk all day, if you're typing, if you're carrying heavy things, carrying children, babies, bags, anything like that can cause a lot of tension around the neck and the shoulders. And yeah, we often get kind of shoulder niggles and shoulder pains, neck pains. So we'll be loosening around the shoulders today, stretching, strengthening around the shoulders. So please be mindful of your shoulders. If you do have any shoulder niggles, then please be careful, just maybe not come into full movements of things. As always, adjust as you need. It's your body, listen to your body. But I really want to focus on today pulling the shoulders kind of down and back, but not really using, you can use your arms to pull your shoulders back. I really want to focus on using the muscles around your shoulders, your shoulder blades. So feeling like there's a bit of string kind of attached to the bottom of each shoulder blade, and someone's behind you kind of pulling that string down and back and towards each other. That's the kind of sensation we're after. It's not muscles we use very often, so it can be quite kind of tough to get that sensation and quite tiring, but yeah, we'll be doing quite a bit of it today, so see how you go. And yeah, just be careful, be mindful with your shoulders. Okay, taking a couple of nice deep breaths, so nice full inhales, long controlled exhales. In your own time, take 3 or 4 big rounds of breathing. Maybe sighing out the exhale, letting it all go. And really filling up the lungs, filling up the chest with your inhales. And then letting your breathing just return to normal. Opening up your eyes, let's take our neck stretches. So just lowering one ear down to the shoulder and then semicircling down and round, up the other side. And back again, as always, just pausing where you need to. where you might feel some extra tension around your neck. Taking any extra movements you need. And then slowly bringing your head back to center. Dropping our arms just down by our side as we inhale, let's sweep the arms up to the sky, nice and soft. And exhale, just floating them back and down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. And exhaling, floating down. Inhaling up. This time let's bring our hands onto our shoulders. So keeping our top of our arms kind of parallel with the ground. And then let's take some shoulder rolls. So drawing big circles with our elbows. So nice, slow, deliberate movements, really getting into the whole movement of the shoulder. And then maybe taking some forward movements as well. And then back again. Okay, bringing the arms back to our starting point. Just taking some little twists in both directions. So twisting around to the left, keeping our kind of arms, our shoulders steady. So just squeezing around to the left, then slowly back to center, squeezing around to the right. Starting to get that movement in our spine. Work those core muscles. And then coming back to center, bringing the elbows in front, touching the elbows if you can, and then opening up. So squeezing the elbows back behind you. And again in front. Squeezing back. Taking a couple more rounds. Good. Dropping the arms down by the side. Nice big inhale, reaching up. This time coming into our side stretches. So just dropping one hand down beside you, reaching up and over with the other arm. Easing into the side body. And then over to the other side. Keeping both sit bones on the ground, so just watch that outer sit bone doesn't kind of lift off. And reaching back up to center. And this time bringing the arms nice and wide, stretching out through the fingertips, squeezing the shoulder blades together and bringing the hands down behind you. Opening up the chest, maybe slightly leaning back into your hands, looking up towards the ceiling. Breathing here. And then coming back to upright. Rolling ourselves forward onto hands and knees. Putting any blocks to the side. Coming to all fours, spreading out the hands nice and wide. Knees hip distance apart, feet hip distance apart. Shoulders over wrists and hips over knees. Coming into our cat-cows. So as we inhale, belly dips down, gaze forward. And as we exhale, curving the spine up towards the ceiling. Trying to follow your movement with your breath, and please don't worry too much if the breath isn't matching the movement. As long as your breathing is slow, steady, mindful, then that's absolutely fine. Really trying to feel the whole spine move here, so getting a nice rippling effect as you come forward and as you go back. Good, taking one more round and then we'll meet in our neutral spine. So finding your flat back, pushing up through the hands, so engaging the back of the shoulders and finding like a bit of a kind of force down through the bottom the lower part of your leg as well. So active legs, active arms, active torso, start to pull the belly button back towards the spine, activating your core. And then we're going to bring our left hand just to touch our left shoulder again, like we did when we sat down, and just take some big circles with that elbow. So trying to keep the rest of our body as still as possible, just working into the shoulder. And then if that feels okay, then let's bring the whole arm into it. So really extending out through the fingers, and then we can move a little bit more into the body here as well. So if you want to sink back into the hips as we come back, extending out. Nice stretch through the arm, through the side. And then bringing that left hand back down to the mat. Resetting our alignment, and then we'll do the same on the other side. So bringing your right hand to your right shoulder and taking some nice big circles with that elbow, trying to keep your body still here. So keeping strong through the core, strong through the left arm and the knees, the thighs. And then we can extend into that right arm, sweeping up and round, and then start to move a little bit more into the body. Bending back into the hips, really reaching up and round with those right fingertips. Good, okay, one more big circle, and then we'll come back to our all fours. Okay, stretching our right leg out behind us. So keeping the toes tucked under, just pushing back through the right heel, opening up the back of the leg, finding a little stretch through into our calf, the back of the knee maybe. And then lifting up that leg to hip height, keeping the toes pointed down towards the earth. So leg straight and strong, pushing back through the heel. And then so let's bring our left arm up to shoulder height, reaching out through the left fingertips. Breathing here. And we're going to bring the right leg down, keeping the left arm up, and then bring the palm to face the floor. So just rotate the arm, and then we're going to bring that left arm out to the side, level with our shoulder, and back to the front. Out to the side, back to the front, out to the side, to the front, and down. Good. Okay, other side, left leg back. Tucking the toe under, stretching out through the back of the heel. And then slowly lifting that leg up, just up to our hip height, toes pointing down towards the earth, and then the right arm comes up to join us. Breathing. And then let's lower that left leg down, slowly and controlled. Rotate the right hand so the palm's facing down. And again, let's just bring that right arm out to the side, back to the front, out to the side, back to the front, one more to the side, and to the front, and back down, good. Let's bring ourselves back into child's pose. So knees apart, toes together, hips sinking back and down, and resting forward. Just relaxing the shoulders here. So maybe taking a little bend in the arms just so your shoulders can release. Having some support for the head if you need it. And when you are settled, taking some nice deep breaths. Fully releasing down as you exhale. So just releasing any tension, any tightness. And then we'll bring ourselves back up. Let's leave our hands a little bit further in front. So bring our knees to hip distance apart. And yeah, rather than have our hands underneath our shoulders, let's bring them a little bit further forward. We're going to bring our weight forward into a half plank position. So shoulders over wrists, keeping the torso nice and firm, firming up the core. We're going to do 3 mini press ups. So squeezing the elbows in, it does not matter how far you come down, go as far as you can. You're going to lower, push up 3 times. And then lower yourself all the way down. We will meet on the mat. Firming up the legs, so pointing the toes, pushing the tops of the feet into the mat. Let's bring our hands underneath our shoulders to begin with. Pushing down with the tops of the feet, firming up the legs. As we inhale, let's peel our chest up off the floor. Exhale down, finding your little flowy cobra here. Warming up the back, warming up those back muscles. And then resting down on the mat, we'll bring our hands into cactus, so elbows in line with our shoulders. Fingertips pointing forward. Firming up the legs again. As we inhale, we're going to bring our head, our arms, our chest up off the floor. Pausing here, breathing here. And down. Take a couple of breaths. And again, lifting up, breathing, strong through the legs, keep those feet on the floor, and lowering down. One more time. When we are ready, lifting up, keeping the legs on the floor. This time we're going to stretch the arms out to the side, and then point the fingertips backwards, pull those shoulders away from you. And releasing down. Good. Taking a couple of breaths. And then we'll bring our hands back under our shoulders. We're going to make our way up into our downward dog. So options here, you can push straight up into plank and then lift the hips up, or we can push up into hands and knees. Tuck the toes under, hips up high, downward dog. Paddling out the legs when we are here, just easing your way into your down dog. Remember, you can always keep your legs bent, that's absolutely fine. The priority here is length through the spine. So really melting your chest down towards the mat, down towards your knees, opening up the armpits. Don't worry what the legs are doing. Okay, lowering the knees down to the mat. So we should have knees that are hip distance apart, feet that are hip distance apart, untucking the toes, keeping the hips above the knees as much as you can. We're going to walk our hands forward. So we're coming into our puppy pose, our melting heart. So walking the hands forward and just slowly lowering your chest area down to the mat, just creeping the hands further forward if that's okay. And just finding that stretch kind of through the armpits, the shoulders, the chest, the back. Breathing here. Okay, slowly starting to move your hands back towards you. Placing them underneath your shoulders, tucking the toes under, back into our downward facing dog. Just noticing how your shoulders are feeling, tired maybe, stretched. Walking our feet up towards the front of the mat. Hip distance apart. Let's come into our ragdoll. So you can either hold on to opposite elbows here, or you can just have the hands just kind of resting on the floor. Let's take a deep bend in the knees. So you can really let the head hang heavy. Bending as far as you need to, just to let the arms rest down. Taking sway from side to side. And then coming to center, we're going to uncurl ourselves all the way up to standing. Nice and slowly. When we get there, sweeping the arms up high. Exhale, just floating the arms down, so just softening down. Inhaling up. And this time forward folding as we exhale. So nice and soft, nice and gentle. Inhaling, uncurling all the way up to standing. Reaching the arms up. Exhaling, just floating the arms down. Inhaling, floating the arms back up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, uncurling up to standing, reaching the arms up. We'll do a couple more of these. Floating the arms down. Inhaling up. Forward fold. Inhaling up. Floating the arms. Inhaling up. Forward fold. Okay, next time you come into your forward fold, let's meet here. Letting the head hang heavy, maybe giving your head a little shake, a little nod. As we inhale into our halfway lift, so we can bring the hands to the shins, to the thighs, to the floor, finding that length through the spine, so flat back. Hands come down, let's step back into our low lunge, so left foot back, right foot forward, lowering the back knee down. Just bringing our hands to our thigh, our front thigh for this one. Making sure our front foot is directly under the knee. So we want to kind of feel like our tailbone's lengthening down. So rather than really sinking into the hips, let's push down through the front foot, the back knee, lift ourselves up, lengthen our tailbone down, find that length through the spine. Let's bring our hands down by our sides this time and point your fingers just slightly down and back. Feel that string on your shoulder blades. Feel like someone's pulling your shoulder blades kind of towards each other and down. But then watch that you don't sink into your lower back. So keep that tailbone lengthened down towards the floor, shoulder blades back and down, active through the arms. Nice big inhale. Let's sweep the arms up. Exhale down. Tuck the back foot under. We're going to step back to our full plank or half plank. You can lower the knees here as always. And then lowering down to the mat, squeezing the elbows in, coming into our back bend, maybe into a cobra or a baby cobra. And down, pushing up through into our downward facing dog. Breathing here. Okay, everyone stepping the left foot forward, same on the left side. So nice big step forward with the left foot, or just wiggling that foot forward as you need to. Hands come to the thigh, just finding our alignment, lifting up through the hips as we press down into the earth. Hands come by our side, and then just bring the shoulder blades, squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you, not bending into the back. So keeping the spine tall, fingertips pointing down and away. Breathing. Nice big inhale, sweeping the arms up high. Exhale, bringing them down, tucking the back toe under, this time stepping forward into our halfway lift and forward fold. Inhaling, uncurling all the way up, reaching the hands up, back into our little flow. So floating the arms down as we exhale. Inhaling up, exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling all the way up to standing, reaching the arms up high. Exhale, float the arms down. Inhaling up. Exhale, forward fold, this time staying down. Finding our halfway lift. Hands come down to the mat, this time stepping back with our right foot first, lowering that back knee down, Low lunge, this time we'll sweep the arms up high, but remembering to keep those shoulder blades kind of back and down. So the same feeling in the shoulders we had in our first lunge, this time just with the arms extended. We'll bring our arms down into cactus, and then let's squeeze the elbows together, and then squeeze the arms forward. Feel like you're squeezing a big beach ball in front of you. Then opening back up, squeezing forward, opening back up. Now we're going to come into our eagle arms. So we're going to bring our right arm over our left. Option here just to hold on to our shoulders, or we can bring the backs of our hands together, or we can wrap our arms around so our palms are facing. Whichever variation you are choosing, let's lift the elbows up and away from us so you find that stretch across the back of the shoulders. Strong through the legs here, really pushing down through the front foot and the back knee, the back foot. Then unraveling the arms, let's reach up to the sky. Arms coming down, stepping back into our plank or half plank, your vinyasa, so lowering down into your back bend. And then making your way into downward facing dog. Breathing in your down dog, strong through the arms, feel that strength through the shoulders, lengthening through the spine, melting down with the heels, just checking your feet are hip distance apart. And then we'll all step forward with the right foot, nice big step forward, lowering that back knee down. Reaching up with the hands, softening the shoulders down. Cactus arms. Squeeze the elbows together behind us and then squeeze the beach ball in front. Opening up the arms, squeezing in front. Inhale to open, exhale to squeeze. One more. And then we'll bring the left arm on top of the right. Again, either just coming to hold our shoulders, finding your arm variation. When we are there, let's pull the elbows up and away. If you have your hands clasped, reaching your hands up towards the ceiling. Breathing. Unraveling the arms, reaching up to the sky. Bringing the hands down, tucking that back toe under and stepping up into our halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhaling all the way up to standing, and this time coming into our Tadasana, hands come to prayer. Let's roll the shoulders back and down. Taking a couple of breaths here. Strong through the legs, lengthening up through the spine, softening the face, softening the shoulders. Okay, reaching up with the hands. This time let's extend the arms nice and wide, so really reaching out through the fingertips, clasping the hands behind us. Working on straightening the arms if we can, but don't worry if not. If you can't, just concentrate on really squeezing the shoulder blades together. So squeezing those elbows together. Bending into the knees, coming into a forward fold, keeping those hands together if we can. Letting the arms come up and over. Breathing. And then slowly bringing ourselves up just halfway, releasing the hands, sweeping the arms down and forward into our squat. Strong through the legs, reaching forward with the arms. And then dropping the arms back and down. And sweeping forward, back, and forward. Back. This time as we come forward, we're going to come up and bringing the left leg with us, coming into our balance. So trying to lift that left knee as high as we can, reaching the arms up to the ceiling. And then leap of faith behind us. Nice big step back with that left foot. You might want to wiggle that right foot forward a little bit, coming into our high lunge. Again, making sure the shoulders are away from the ears. They have a tendency just to creep up, so just pulling them back and down. pivoting into our warrior two. So left foot parallel with the back edge of the mat, hands come to shoulder height, front knee directly over that front foot. Reversing the warrior, so right hand comes up and over, left hand just to that thigh or the hip, and then over into our side angle. Reaching up and away with the left fingertips, right hand can come to the right thigh. We're going to come back into our reverse warrior, keeping that front leg bent and strong, and then back into our side angle. This time, if you want to come a bit deeper into your side angle. If you want to take the bind, then bringing the left arm behind and right arm underneath your leg, take the bind. But whichever variation works for you, we can still keep it with the right arm on the right leg or the right hand to the floor. Coming wherever you are, back into our warrior two. And then we're going to pivot on that right foot, so both toes pointing forward. As we inhale, reaching the arms up to the sky. And exhale, floating them down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. This time we're going to fold all the way down, so strong through the legs, firming up the thighs. Maybe you can wiggle the feet a little further apart once you're folded forward, if you need any blocks for your hands, or a chair to hold on to, the edge of the sofa. Breathing here in your wide-legged forward fold, our prasarita. And then let's take a big inhale, lifting ourselves up, hands come to the hips, all the way up. Exhale, inhale, sweeping up to the sky. This time as we exhale, we're going to extend our arms all the way behind us, clasping our hands behind us. Again, opening up the chest and folding forward again, bringing our arms up and overhead. We're going to take our left toes, we're going to point them towards the back edge of our mat, bend into the left knee. So keeping our chest, our head, our arms where they are, we're going to come into our humble warrior. So warrior two legs, and keeping our head bowed down inside that left leg. Slowly bringing ourselves up, we're going to pivot on the back foot, coming up onto our toes into our lunge, but keeping the arms clasped behind us, opening up the chest. Maybe taking our gaze up towards the sky. Good. Releasing the hands, let's sweep the arms up, bringing the hands down, framing that front foot, stepping back into our plank and taking your vinyasa towards the back of your mat. Making your way into our downward dog. Breathing here. And then walking or stepping forward up to the, well, to the back of your mat, halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhaling, sweeping the arms all the way up to the sky. Exhaling into our Tadasana. Mountain pose. Maybe giving the shoulders a little roll. Taking a few breaths. And we're going to do all that again on the other side. So as we inhale, reaching up. Exhale, extend out the arms, squeeze the shoulders together, clasping the hands behind us, opening up the chest. And then bending into the knees, forward fold. Lifting yourself up just halfway, releasing the hands, sweeping them down and forward into our squat. And then letting the arms float back, forward, and back, forward. One more time, back, forward. This time we'll bring up the right leg with us, coming into our balance, reaching up to the sky, softening the shoulders, Seeing if you can get that right leg a little bit higher, strong and straight left leg. Taking a leap of faith backwards, stepping back with that right foot. Finding your high lunge. Pivoting into our warrior two. Really reaching out through the fingertips here. So shoulders back and down, strong straight arms. Remember to let's keep our weight backwards so we're not surfing. Bringing our weight back. Reverse warrior. Into our side angle. Back to our reverse. And back to our side angle, this time taking a deeper variation if you choose to do so. Completely up to you. Lifting yourself back up into your warrior two, then pivoting those left toes to point forward. Inhaling, reaching up to the sky. Exhaling, floating the arms down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. This time as we exhale, forward folding. So strong straight legs, folding from the hips. And once we're kind of down a bit further, sometimes it's helpful to wiggle the feet a little further away, or bring some support for your hands, or we can bend into the knees. Breathing in your wide-legged forward fold, not holding your breath. Then on your next big inhale, start to lift yourself up. Bring your hands to your hips, lift all the way up. Exhale, and then let's sweep the arms up. Stretching the arms out beside us, coming into our clasp behind us. Really working on straightening the arms, pulling the shoulder blades together, and then forward folding again. Turning the right toes out back to the front of the mat, bending into that right knee, working your way around into your humble warrior. And then slowly pivoting on that back foot, lifting up the heel, coming up into your high lunge, strong through the legs, keeping those arms clasped if you can, and then taking your gaze up towards the sky. Releasing your hands, sweeping up and exhaling down. Stepping back into our plank, taking your vinyasa, always lowering the knees if you need to. Taking your back bend, so baby cobra, cobra, or upward dog. And then all meeting in our downward facing dog. Breathing here. Relaxing the head, maybe giving the head a little shake from side to side. And then walking or stepping up to the front of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, let's sweep all the way up. Let's take our little flow here. So exhale, floating the arms down. Inhaling up. Forward fold. Inhaling all the way back up to standing. Reaching the arms up. Exhaling, floating the arms down. Inhaling up. Forward fold. This time we'll stay down in our forward fold. Halfway lift as we inhale. And then hands down, stepping both feet out to our plank or half plank. Taking our vinyasa, so lowering down into our back bend. Exhale. Pushing up into our downward facing dog.
Last down dog. So really lifting those hips up high, strong through the arms, pushing down through the hands, melting those heels down to the ground, even if your legs are bent. And then we're going to come back into our puppy, our melting heart pose. So lowering the knees down, untucking the toes, walking the hands forward, melting the chest down, just seeing how this might feel compared to the beginning of the class. Breathing, relaxing, releasing down. And then slowly walking your hands back towards you. We're going to bring our hips back to meet our heels, come into a closed knee child's pose. So bringing our head down, arms come down behind us, curling up into a little ball. Again, using some support for your head here if you need it. And just letting your shoulders fully release down to the mat. Just noticing how your body's feeling, how your shoulders are feeling. Bringing your awareness to your breathing. Good. Okay, bringing our hands back underneath our shoulders, just lifting ourselves up. Coming through to a seated. We're going to have our legs bent, but slightly out in front of us, toes pointing forward. Hip distance apart. We're going to bring our hands underneath our shoulders, fingertips pointing forward. Coming into our reverse tabletop. So nice big inhale as we lift up off the ground. Getting the hips as high as you can. Don't worry if they don't come that high. And just watching you don't put any strain on your neck here. So we can keep our head pointing forward. We don't have to drop our head back. Trying to get strong through the arms, strong through the shoulders, pressing down with the feet, strong through the thighs, the glutes, breathing. And then lowering back down. Folding yourself over, bringing your hands underneath your legs and just curling your spine round. Again, just relaxing your shoulders. You can even just let your arms rest on the floor here if that's better for you. And then bringing ourselves upright. Wiggling ourselves forward on our mat a little if we need. We're going to come through to lying. So reaching your arms forward, we're going to lower down slowly in stages. So really engaging the core, just dropping the very lower part of our back down to begin with. And then we're going to lift ourselves back up. And then lower down again, maybe a little bit further. Lift ourselves back up. And again. Ooh. Lifting yourself back up. Maybe one more time. And then lowering all the way down. When you get there, let's squeeze the knees into the chest. Have a little rock and roll around. And then we're going to bring our arms into cactus. So leaving the knees coming into our chest, arms into cactus. If that feels okay on our arms, we can always straighten the arms down kind of at a diagonal if that's more comfortable. But just to get that opening in the chest, maybe wiggling the shoulder blades together behind you. And then we're just going to gently sway the knees from side to side. So letting the arms, the shoulders stay heavy on the floor, don't let them lift. And then we're just going to take some movements with the legs. So start from going side to side, then we can maybe take some circles with the knees. So keeping the knees together and then just kind of circling backwards and forwards, and you get a nice kind of massage all the way around your lower back here. And then squeezing the knees back into the chest, bringing your arms around the knees. Extending out the left leg, bringing the right knee in. Squeezing that right knee in, right up to the armpit. And then we're going to bring that knee up and over into our twist. So at the same time we bring the knee over, let's just shiggle the hips over to the right hand side. So you can almost come onto the side of that left hip, bringing the right knee over, extending the right hand out beside you. And breathing here. Full breaths, full inhales, long exhales, softening into the twist with your exhales. Bringing yourself back through to center. Just bringing that right foot down to the mat, bringing your hips kind of back in line, and then squeezing both knees in again. Right leg extends out, left knee in. And then coming into our twist. So moving those hips a little over to the left, bringing the left knee, over to the right. And then extending out our left arm, maybe taking our gaze towards our left fingertips. Close the eyes if that feels good for you, and breathe. Slowly bringing yourself back through center. Bringing your hips back in line, squeezing the knees in. Having a little rock from side to side if you need, and then we'll come into our bridge position. So feet hip distance apart, toes pointing forward. In fact, just take a little look down at your feet. You can see them, and just make sure the toes, the feet are kind of parallel with the sides of the mat and your toes are pointing forward. And then you want the same gap between your knees as your feet. Bringing our hands down by our side to begin with, palms facing down. Let's lift our pelvis up off the mat, then peel the spine off inch by inch, nice and slowly. All the way up. Up onto the shoulders and then lowering back down. Lifting up again. This time, if you want a little bit more, we can take the arms up with us. So floating the arms up and overhead as we lift our hips. Letting the arms rest on the floor behind us. And then lowering the arms back down as we lower down the spine. So trying to follow the movement. So our arms and our hands and our hips meet the floor at the same time. This is just optional. If you don't want to move your hands, we can just leave the hands down by the side. That's completely fine. Taking maybe 2 or 3 more rounds in your own time, whichever variation you like. Trying to slow the movement right down. Really pushing down through all 4 corners of your feet. So watch your toes aren't lifting. Really using the whole of your foot and strong through the legs. And next time your hips, your hands meet the floor, let's stay down and make our way into our Shavasana. So extending out your legs, as wide as the mat, letting your feet just flop out to the side, and then turning your palms up to face the ceiling. And again, maybe just wiggling your shoulder blades together, kind of behind you, just to let them rest flat on the floor. Always an option to bring your hands to your belly here if you feel more comfortable doing that. And always an option to bend up your knees, have your feet wide, have your knees coming into each other is also a really relaxing position, especially if you have any niggles in your lower back. So you can always have a little play around with your Shavasana. It is your Shavasana. So wherever you feel comfortable, maybe having a blanket or a throw or something kind of heavy to put on you can be really nice as well. So wherever you are, closing down the eyes and fully releasing down. Letting the head fully relax. Maybe let's just give the head a little wiggle from side to side, just feeling it be really heavy, just flopping from side to side, and then just letting it rest in its central position. Softening around the neck area and around that shoulder area. So the tops of the shoulders, the backs of the shoulders, the fronts of the shoulders. Lots of movement around that area today. So fully releasing all around there, just noticing how that area is feeling. Any tension we can release. Letting the arms be heavy. Wherever the arms are resting, just letting them be fully supported, letting the fingers relax. And working our way down our spine, just melting our back down. Where it meets the floor, just softening in there. Then softening the front line of our torso. So all around our abdomen, our core area, the front of our hips. Letting the whole torso be heavy, relaxed, softened. And then down into the legs, releasing the thighs, the calves. Maybe giving your feet a little gentle shake from side to side and then letting them just flop out. Sinking down, melting down. Feeling heavy, feeling supported, feeling relaxed. Just letting any thoughts drifting away. Bringing your focus back to your breathing, your body, relaxing, releasing. Softening around the face, just noticing if there's any tension around the forehead, the temples. Maybe letting the mouth just slightly part, softening around the jaw. Just noticing if any other parts of the body have become a little bit tense. And not judging it, just releasing. That's fine. As long as we notice and release. And now let's start to bring a little bit of life back. So lengthening your inhales and lengthening your exhales as we start to just wiggle our fingers and toes. Bringing some movement into our wrists, our feet. And when we are ready, coming into our pencil stretch. Keeping the breathing slow and steady. And then finding our little balls, so squeezing the knees into our chest, or we can always just bend the knees, keeping the feet on the ground here if that's easier for you. And then rolling onto our side, so finding our fetal position. And taking 2 or 3 nice deep cleansing breaths here. Slowly making your way, when you are ready, back up to your seated position. Keeping the eyes closed, if you can, or closing the eyes when we get there. Finding our tall spine. Grounding down through the points of contact with the floor, at the same time as lengthening up through the spine, through the top of the head, keeping that chin tucked down. And let's just take some gentle shoulder rolls here. So in your own time, just movement in the shoulder. And then just letting them melt back and down, bringing our hands together into our prayer position and opening up your eyes. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful evening and a wonderful week. And yes,